Hello, Gareth here, and in today's lesson we're going to paint something like this. So this is a mountain called Yufudake, and it's in Oita prefecture, Japan, which is where I live. And in 2014 I climbed this mountain, and on the top of this mountain I painted the sunset. It was wonderful. But when I came down, I got lost in the dark because I didn't have a light or a torch or anything, and I was stuck on the mountain all night. Anyway, I wrote about that, and in the description box below there's a link to that story and also some other pictures I did of that mountain. But anyway, I think this is going to be a fun painting to do. So one of the interesting things we're going to do is this vibrant sky with a bright red background and then these beautiful blue clouds. It's really not that difficult, but it looks very interesting. And I'm going to show you how to do these runs. Can you see these runs coming down? They're really fun to do. And also how to make this beautiful foliage. So it's going to be a lot of fun and very little drawing is needed. Anyway, let's begin. I don't know why I'm pointing this way, do you? It's beginning over here. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble. Let's begin. So the first thing is a pencil drawing, but very little needs to be drawn in this picture. So we're going to have the path beginning here. We're going to have a bank coming up like this, and the path coming down like this. Very dramatic. And then here we're going to have some grass that gets bigger and bigger, like that. And then here we're going to have our figure. Like that. And then I'm going to have a big tree here, maybe another one here, and a smaller one here. Then the difficult part is the rocks, because there are a lot of them, but we don't want to draw all of them. So the challenging thing here is to draw as few rocks as possible. I think that I say that will do, and then I draw a few more. I always do that. Okay. And you have to be careful not to have the rocks looking similar. They have to be very different shapes, different sizes, and also the arrangement, the spreading out of them, not too regular. Okay, so that's done. Now it's painting time. So first I get my mop brush and I use my alizarin crimson. Make sure your brush is thoroughly cleaned, because we want a lovely pure red. That's too much, but there you go. Then I dab it on my rag and then onto the paper. Yeah, that will do. It's going to be like a blood red sky. Although this isn't quite blood red, is it? And then add a little bit of water as we come down. More water, maybe just more or less pure water. And let's allow it to run down into there. Like that. And then a bit more red at the top, concentrate it. And then let's spray. Spray horizontally, not directly at the paper. Okay, coming down, we're going to do a light purple. So a bit of red and a bit of our light blue. This is Cobalt turquoise light. And I need a lot more. And then very watery to begin. And maybe that will do for now. I might make it a touch darker. One more time, spraying. Now I'm getting my pointed oval brush and I'm getting some light blue, pure light blue, and a bit of my dark blue. That's Phthalo blue, the dark one. Now timing is very important. If this mix is too watery and this is still quite wet, then it's just going to explode. So you want this to be not super watery and this mix to be a little bit thick, quite thick. We can test it. We can look at how quickly the paint spreads out. If it spreads out very quickly, it's too early. You have to remember as well that the paint dries. If your paper is slanted, this is slightly slanted, then the paint will dry quicker at the top. So that's an important thing to remember. I'm adding more light blue now. I think I should have done just light blue. It would have looked more dramatic, I think. But there you go. Further down, I might add just pure light blue. Okay. What we have achieved though is a beautiful red glowing sky. Sorry about all the vehicle sounds from outside. And then finally, right at the bottom, a mountain. Oh, it's dried out quite a lot. And quickly do this. And then what I'm going to do is soften it below there. Oh, but first, just here. That didn't look very good. And here. Okay, maybe a spray. And then finally down here, pure water. Start below the paint and then work your way up. And in that way the brush becomes a bit drier and it tends to blend better. It's a bit wet, my brush, so I'm dabbing it on the rag. That's very important. Little things like that are very important. It takes time, but gradually you'll get a feel for that. It's really something you can't teach. You can just tell students about that. So there we go. Let's leave that to dry. It's already looking very dramatic, I think, which is good. This has now dried, and I'm going to do the banks and the rocks and the grass all in one go. So first I need a big mix, and it's basically a grey mix that I will add colour to. So I use my big mop brush. This will help me cover a lot of space very quickly. So it's my favourite three: Phthalo blue, alizarin crimson and yellow ochre. So take your time with your mix, especially at the beginning, if you have got time to get it right. I think this is a bit too brown, so I will add blue. And there we go. So that's quite grey now, so it's going to go up here. It's difficult to see my original pencil lines, but I can just see them. So that goes up like that, then across. So we paint this area extremely quickly, and then just go around some of these rocks. And I just want to spray that, keep it wet. And then I'm going to get my pointed oval brush. I'm going to get some of this blue, because I'm going to cool this off now. Add a touch of this and put it here. So it's fading into the distance. It's a complete exaggeration, but it looks good. Really, that's all that counts. And then I'm going to do my trees. So I need the same mix, but it needs to be thicker. So begin again. Blue, alizarin crimson and yellow ochre. Don't put them all together. Have them slightly separate so you can add a bit of one to the other, rather than just mix it all in one go. That will do for now. It's a bit browny, doesn't matter. I'll splay the hairs, and then I'm going to rough up this line because it looks more natural now. It's a lot of fun. And then this is the tricky bit, like this. I splay the hairs and then I do this, and you've just got to leave those gaps. Like that. Do another one nearby, bit smaller. Ooh, you see, I'm having trouble leaving those gaps. Little few dibs and dabs. They look a bit too similar, so make this one even bigger. Then spray it all because it's drying. spray horizontally. And then in the distance, we're going to have a bluer one. So get some of my blue, get a touch of this mix, splay the hairs. So can you see how there's several things I'm doing in quick succession? And that's one of the reasons why you have so much trouble with watercolor painting, because it takes a while before you get all that to work. And even when it does work, it still can often go wrong. Just the truth. That's why it's important just to enjoy it and have fun. So I didn't get many gaps in that one. Now this is the fun bit and the scary bit. Runs. So I get my brush, I get yellow ochre, I get a touch of this light blue, and hopefully here we go at the top. I'm going to do that, and this one too. It's like putting topping on ice cream. It's like the sauce on the top, yeah? So when you're painting, it's not a bad idea to almost imagine that you're actually doing something like cooking or something. And then this runs down. And then I add some water. Let's go crazy. Wow, I've got some real dramatic colours. And I like this. Looks good. And then here, I'm going to have a little bit of colour coming down here. It's a bit more colourful than I wanted it to be, but it looks good, and really that's all that counts for me. And then here, add a lot of water to this, and then also lots of water now, and along here. So once again, at the top it will dry quickest. You can use your finger sometimes to blend things together. There we go. And then we're going to do a bit of light blue and just splatter. So this is texture. Yeah, you see that light blue? Lovely. And then this has dried too quickly, so I'm just going to wet that a bit. And then let's do the grass over here. So that's a kind of blue. That will do. And then like this, up and down. Not strong enough. More blue, touch of this. And then here we go, in like that. And then let's get bigger, like that. And then if possible, shall we flick them up? You see that touch of yellow ochre I added there? So now I've got a little bit of yellow ochre dominating in this mix now. So a lot of watercolor teachers talk about mud, and to be honest, I just don't know what they're talking about, because I never have a problem with mud. maybe all my paintings are a kind of mud with color, but I think it looks good. So I wouldn't worry about mud. Okay, Can you see how exciting that's looking? I mean, it's vibrant. And then we're going to do the stones, so we can use this mix and pointed oval. For this I was using my bamboo brush, right? Maybe a pointer brush will do if you've got a pointer brush. By the way, I will be using some white paint at some point, so I'm just preparing you for that, because somebody was really surprised when I got out the white paint and it ruined their painting. But it shouldn't do that, because after the picture is dried, then you can go and buy some and then apply it then. And you can wet the areas of the painting again if you need to. So it doesn't have to be such a bad thing. And then you get people who have this religion in which it's anathema, is that how you say it, to use white paint. Fair enough, but if other people want to use it, then I don't think it's a sin. I really don't. But there you go. People can get very intense about those things, and I must admit, I've been like that myself sometimes in the past, but nowadays I'm like, don't ask me, I know nothing. But then I just go ahead and do what I think works. And I think white paint works a lot. In fact, I'm too timid in my painting. And I hope in some of these lessons with you to just, you know, I'm coming out, you know? Which doesn't mean I'm homosexual. It means there's a more exciting artist inside of me that is hopefully coming out. And I say that because I hope the same is true of you. So I know you're copying my stuff, and I think that's fine. That's a good way to begin. But there's an artist inside of you, a unique artist, and that artist will come out if you keep practicing. And one of the best ways of getting that artist inside of you to come out is to really have fun and go crazy and just not worry too much. Wow, look at this. See, I went a bit crazy. But I must admit, at the beginning, when you do that, you will have so many mistakes. You'll make so many mistakes, and then you'll think, no, I can't be crazy. I can't do, you know, break all the rules and do crazy things like use really wet paint or really dry paint. But eventually you learn from those things. You get ideas from those things, and you get really good as an artist, in my opinion. 20 years of experience. I haven't sold that many paintings though. Sense of humor, you need it. It's better than bitterness. That looks fabulous. To be honest, when I painted that sky, to be completely honest, I thought I'd messed it up, and I thought I'm just gonna deliver this painting. I'm gonna put it out there because, you know, there's a kind of, okay, here's a bit of a ramble, but you have so much energy, you know, and if you're always redoing, which I tend to do, you sometimes get to the point where you just don't care anymore and you just give up. And so sometimes you've just got to, even though it's a bit of a failure or it might have failed, put it out there. Anyway, sorry about the ramble. I decided when I was doing this painting that I was going to speak less, and there you go. Anyway, now I'm going to do something that is maybe a bad idea. Crazy time. And what it is I want to darken this. It's a gradation. I can't say that word. gradation, whatever. So I could wait for it to dry. That would be the safe option. And if you want to do that, that's great. There's no right or wrong here. But I think by doing it when it's still wet, I can get that wash to blend in with these rocks. And I think that's going to end up looking more exciting. So here goes. So I'm using just light red to begin with. And I don't go over too many times, because the more times I go over, the more the paint underneath is going to start to get very wet and move. And I don't want that to happen. I want it to stay there mostly. I know it's going to move a bit. In fact, actually, it's all dried off, so I'm just talking a load of BS. Okay, let's wet it a bit. The nice thing about getting old is you just don't have to keep pretending so much that everything's okay and it's all going right. You can be like, oh, maybe not, might be going wrong, very wrong. Okay, and we can see that line very clearly, but can you see how these rocks, at least these ones, blend into that wash? It's a tricky thing to do. Using pure water here. There we go. That's dramatic. Can you see that? We've got some really interesting colours going on here. We've got this red here, red in the sky. We've got this real cool and pure blue. And then we've got this yellowish colour. It's not exactly yellow, is it? I'm not sure what to say about it, what kind of colour it is. Browny yellow. What am I going to do now? I might use some pure yellow, because along here I just want a few more little drops like that. Oh, now we've got an ambulance. If you're a video creator, I never thought of myself as a video creator, but if you're a video creator, make sure you don't live right next to a busy road like I do. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm not too happy with some of these rocks. I might just thicken them up, a few of them, yeah? So I'm dabbing my brush. This has got to be a thickish mix, and it's our favourite three, the three amigos. The blue, the red, the yellow ochre. Very thick mix, and then we're just going to, whoa, no, too strong. But as I do this, it's going to become softer, and hopefully soon. Yeah, these are the ones I wanted to do again. So it didn't quite work out how I wanted, but I'm just glad that I tried, because I know one day I'm going to get it right and it's going to look absolutely amazing. So. And we can add a few more stones. There was a lot of red in my mix, a bit too much. And of course, things in the distance are going to look a bit smaller, so don't make them big. Can even be just a tiny dot will do. Wow, how long has this recording gone on? Might have to stop soon. Stop the video. Sometimes with this brush, it makes a particular mark that I don't like that kind of mark. So I have to make it look more like a blocky, stony shape. And then I'm squinting, and that helps me to see whether the overall pattern is working. So, and I think it is. I'm going to do highlights with this a little later with, wait for it, white paint. Yes, that daring. I think people have been doing that for about 50 years now, but there you go. Okay, so but it can be a shock to some people. Okay, and maybe here, just a few little dark areas. Just a few, like that. And then let's leave it to dry. I'm pretty happy with that. It's very powerful, isn't it? Okay, it has now dried, and I'm going to do the figure. So I use this bamboo brush. It's getting a little bit old, and it hasn't got such a good point anymore, but still good enough. So I just use more or less these three colours of blue, red and yellow ochre. And yeah, it is dry. And I'm just going to do the whole figure black. It's the easiest way, and it looks good. And we can add some colour later if we wish to. So I can't see this. I can't see my pencil lines very well. So I'm having to guess a bit. But it did give me an idea of roughly the size of the figure, which is very helpful. So when you're doing something like this, where you have to be very careful, then you want to put your hand on the paper, and then it gives your hand some stability. Okay, and then dry brush would be nice here. Wow. Not quite, but it's okay. Let's try again. That's good. His hand there looks a bit big, but still think, oh, that was a bad idea. Still think it's okay. I might make the top of his hat a little bit reddish. So I'm adding red paint to this mix, and then adding it up here and maybe here too. And then dry brush. Come on, come on. Maybe that will do. Not quite what I wanted, but it's passable, I think. So I'm just adding some blue to this because it's too red, and I'm going to do the sticks, the walking sticks. Not easy. If you look carefully at your brush, you can't see it here, but it's almost like a blade shape. At least this brush is. And so you want to use the thin edge, not the side of the blade, so to speak, which will give you a really thick mark, because now we want a super thin mark. Well, not too bad. Okay, and where's this going? Yeah, this arm's coming forwards. Okay, use my finger to blend a bit, and I think that's okay. There's a bit of a mark there, but I can erase that later. Okay, so now I'm going to do some whites, not whites, but some highlights on these rocks, and it's going to look a little bit dramatic, maybe a bit artificial. So for some people, I hope this isn't going to be too shocking, because I'm getting out the red paint. Goodness me, what happened to my brain? I'm getting out the white paint, sorry. Opaque. Help us. And then I'm mixing in some red, and here we go. So just a few slithery touches. I like it. And a few bolder ones like that one. So when you do this, you don't want the mix too watery, because you want this dry brush effect. And I think you achieve that by, yeah, moving the brush a little bit quickly, but also you don't want a super watery mix either. You want a fairly thick mix. Now I've done all of these a bit too white, so I'm adding some more red. Ooh, that's dirty. Begin again. Here's my white. I should have done the red first, but there you go. Okay, there we go. And this is a bit watery. Okay. Back to squinting my eyes. and it's really important, a variety of thick and thin strokes, and not to overdo it. I might end up overdoing it, but there you go. Okay, I think that's quite nice, and I should just leave it there, but I'm going to do one more thing. One more thing that will destroy the painting, and it is, maybe you guessed it, I'm going to go in with a bit more darker paint at the bottom here. Start off with water and then soften it up. And then let's go in even darker. I want these rocks to blend into, whoops, I'm trying to avoid the white areas, but I went over that one completely. So I want these rocks at the bottom especially to blend into the shadows, because I think that's going to look really nice. Add to a feeling of like mystery. So here we go. And there, I think that's it. So I feel like I need to do something with this figure, but I'm not sure what. Maybe the bottom part of the figure needs to be a little bit more blurred. I'm not sure. So just add a bit of water. And maybe that's a bit better, because it was too stiff looking, and we can pretend that's like a bit of dust there or something that's making it not so clear what we're seeing, but it also gives a feeling of not such a stiff figure. And there's one correction, blah 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 blah. There's one correction, this blob here, and I'm going to use my bamboo brush, and this blob is going, hopefully. So you can erase things, yeah, in watercolor painting. Look, ta-da! I just proved it. It's gone. So let's have an overall look. Yep. I think it's good. Review time. So how do I feel about this painting? I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, I would like it to be even better, but I'm still very happy with it. So let's look at the individual elements. So first of all, the sky. I thought I'd messed up the sky when I began this painting. So but later on, when I did this, I changed my mind and thought, no, the sky looks very good. So perhaps this could be a bit redder here, but I still think it works. And I've still got this misty feeling at the bottom of the mountain. This edge is a little hard, but I think I get away with it. So I think the sky is nice. I like it. So next, this bank and the grass here. So the grass, I think it works. It's light here, it gets darker. It's got lovely texture on the top that gives the feeling of grass. Yeah, it's good. And this bit, I love this. I think these trees, the gaps are so important, aren't they? I only got 1 or 2 here. Well, mostly just 1, but I got a lot of gaps in here, and I think it looks really good. And this is good, even though it needs more gaps. So more gaps are needed in this tree and this one, but still I like the trees, and I love the runs. I love the way this paint runs down. I think that's wonderful. I think the yellow here is perhaps a bit too much, and I should have done something that's maybe a bit bluer because it's very, very late evening time, dusk. But still, I think the texture is nice, the colour is nice, the feeling is nice, but maybe, especially this area here, a bit cooler rather than so yellow, a bit more like this bluey colour. But I'm still very happy with it. The rocks, I think, look really good, and I like the way that it gets darker, the path, and the rocks get swallowed up in the shadows. So I think that's nice. The figure's okay. The posture is fairly good, and the position is very good. I'm not sure if the figure is as interesting as I would like. Maybe I need something a bit more exciting. I might just darken that hat. It won't make much difference. Oh wow, the sun's come out here. It's really amazing. Yeah, I get very excited when the sun comes out. I think it's because I'm from England. We always get so excited when the sun comes out. So I'm just going to darken this. I might even add blue. Let's go for it. Crazy time. So I know this is not going to end up super blue, but it might just give the figure a little bit more, hand down on the paper, a little bit more variety, I suppose, or something like that, which makes the figure more interesting. And then here at the top is going to be really dark. And then here maybe dark, but becoming much lighter. Yeah, I definitely think that's an improvement. You tell me what you think in the comments. I'd like to know. Okay. And I quite like that. So I think that's good, and I think the painting is finished.